So sulca and gyra. So what is the sulca and gyra? So these are the plural term. For the singular term, it is known as the sulcus and gyrus. Okay. So we'll see. So here you can see the diagram of the cerebrum, along with the cerebellum with that, and hidden anterior to that the brain stem. The whole of the intracranial structure, the neural structure of the intracranial cavity, and below that there is the coronal section of the brain, that is mainly the cerebral hemisphere, whole cerebrum. So cerebral cortex, the outer part of the cerebrum is known as the cortex. So here in the cerebral hemisphere it is known as the cerebral cortex. So this surface area is shown into various folds. Okay, so these folds are known as the gyrus, and the spaces or the features or the gap between the gyri is known as sulcus. So gyrus means convolution, that is folding, and sulcus means groove between the gyri, that is sulci. Fine. So total area of the cerebral hemisphere or cerebrum becomes, due to this folding, 2200 centimeter square. Okay, but it folding increases its surface 3 times. Got it? So that is the reason to accommodate more and more area within a smaller cranial cavity. Fine. We'll focus on gyrus. So gyra are the central core of the white matter. So central core of the white matter is covered by the layer of the gray matter. So you can see in that coronal section, the outer layers you can see the darker as compared to the core, which are pale in color. So these are the white matter, the pale color area in inner side, and outermost is the gyrus, that is cortex, cerebral cortex. So that is constituting the gyri. So we'll see the first, which are the sulcus, the main sulcus of the cerebrum. So now you remember here in the cerebellum, we have seen again there were some elevations and the depressions. Okay, means gap in between the foldings of the cerebellar cortex. So there that elevations are in a specific linear manner, transversely present from upper surface to lower surface. There in the cerebellum they are known as the folium or plural folia, and the space between them or gap between them is known as the fissure. ठीक है, बट यहाँ पे थोड़ा इरेगुलर दिखता है इसमें, तो दैट इज नोन एज द gyra and sulci in cerebral hemisphere. So main cerebral sulcus we'll see. First one, the lateral sulcus of the sylvius or sylvian sulcus. So it is most conspicuous, and it is having the stem and its 3 branches known as its 3 rami. Ramus means branches. Got it? So stem is present deep on the inferior surface at the anterior perforating substance, which extend laterally on the supralateral surface. सुप्रोलैटरल सरफेस अभी जो तुम्हारे सामने जो दिख रहा है, टेम्पोरल लोब दिख रहा है, उसके ऊपर का जो पैराइटल लोब है, फ्रंटल लोब है, तो दैट व्यू ऑफ द सेरेब्रल हेमिस्फीयर फ्रॉम द लैटरल साइड is known as the supralateral surface. Okay. So gap between, you can see the parietal above and temporal lobe below. So between them, that is the lateral sulcus. Okay, I have put it in box. So lateral sulcus, which is coming from the medial aspect of the cerebral hemisphere on the surface between the temporal lobe and the parietal lobe. So that is known as the stem. Now, how the ramus is formed? You can see. So ramus is formed on the supralateral surface here. So you can see there is the anterior horizontal, then anterior ascending, and then posterior. So you can see I have written in abbreviated form AH. यहाँ पे दिख रहा तुम्हारे राइट साइड में AH means anterior horizontal, वो उसका एक ब्रांच हो गया. Then above that AA, that is anterior ascending, and posterior जो larger है, that is the posterior. Okay, that is the larger one. Posterior ramus of the Sylvian sulcus. Now, what is the Sylvian point? Diverging point from this stem of the sulcus into these three rami is known as the Sylvian point. Got it? Then next, the central sulcus. The central sulcus, also known as the sulcus of the Rolando. So, in upper diagram, upper figure, you can see the central sulcus in the box. You can see it is descending from the superior border or supromedial border, descending downward and forward, separating the frontal lobe from the anterior, from the parietal lobe posterior. Okay. Now there is a description written here. It is 1 centimeter behind midpoint of the frontal and occipital pole. तो सबसे राइट में जो पोल दिख रहा है फ्रंटल लोब का, दैट इज नोन एज द फ्रंटल पोल, और सबसे लेफ्ट में ऑक्सीपिटल लोब जहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, जहाँ पे ए लिखा है डायग्राम ए, तो वो वाला जो पॉइंट है ऑक्सीपिटल लोब का, दैट इज नोन एज द ऑक्सीपिटल पोल. और टेम्पोरल लोब जो दिख रहा है उसके सबसे आगे का पॉइंट जो है ऑन योर राइट साइड ऑन द टेम्पोरल लोब, दैट इज नोन एज द टेम्पोरल पोल. तो सेरिब्रल हेमिस्फीयर इज हैविंग थ्री पोल्स, फ्रंटल पोल, occipital pole and temporal pole. Got it? So from midpoint of the frontal and occipital poles, it has written that 1 centimeter behind the midpoint of these two poles. Okay, and rest are the same I have described. And it also extending on the medial surface. Okay, upper part of the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. So I would like to say that that small extension of central sulcus on medial surface, so cortex anterior and posterior to that and inferior to that is the horseshoe shape, and that is known as the paracentral lobule. So we'll come later on that paracentral lobule, which is controlling the bowel and bladder motion. Okay, then we come to calcarine sulcus. So you can see where is the calcarine sulcus. Okay. So in the lower diagram, you can see on the medial surface, it is extending from the occipital pole, okay, upward and anterior, and it slightly extend on the supralateral surface also. If I will like to show you where is the lateral surface extension of this calcarine sulcus, this one. Is it clear? This is the calcarine sulcus here. Okay. अब जब सुप्रोलेटरल सरफेस पे जाएगा यहाँ पे, तो दिस इज एक्सटेंडिंग फ्रॉम हियर, calcarine sulcus. Got it? So this was about the central and the calcarine sulcus. On this, the next slide, the parieto-occipital sulcus. You can see the parieto-occipital sulcus here between the parietal lobe and the occipital lobe. Okay. So from medial surface to the supralateral surface, it comes here. Okay, and it starts from the midpoint of the calcarine sulcus. In this diagram, you can see here the calcarine sulcus here, and that and descending downward and going forward, that is the parieto-occipital sulcus. And then I will try to show you. This one on the medial surface, and in the next slide on the supralateral surface. Okay, so this is parieto-occipital sulcus. So it cuts the supromedial border 5 centimeter in front of the occipital pole. Fine. Now we will see the other smaller or other subdivisions of the all the lobes of the brain, cerebral hemisphere. So first we will see on the supralateral surface. So you can see here on the frontal lobe in the diamond shape or rhomboid shape box I have drawn. So all these are labeling are coming. These are the gyrus and the sulcus coming under this frontal lobe, right? So prefrontal sulcus, you can see here the precentral gyrus between the prefrontal and the central sulcus. You can see the precentral sulcus going downward and forward parallel to the central sulcus. Then there is superior and inferior sulci on the frontal lobe, which are horizontal and dividing the frontal lobe into the superior and inferior, superior, middle, and inferior lobe or lobule, superior, middle, and inferior frontal gyrus. Can you see in that box on the diagram, superior frontal sulcus, inferior frontal sulcus, dividing the frontal part into the anterior frontal part into superior frontal gyrus, middle frontal gyrus, and inferior frontal gyrus. Then on the supralateral surface of the frontal lobe again, there is the anterior and ascending rama of the lateral sulcus. So I will utilize here pointer. So here you can see this is the anterior horizontal and this is ascending ramus of this stem of lateral sulcus, that is Sylvian sulcus. Okay. So this part of the frontal area is known as the pars orbitalis, and this triangular gyrus between them is known as the pars triangularis because it is triangular in shape. And rest of the frontal part behind this ascending ramus is known as the pars opercularis. What is meant by the opercularis? Lead. So this one is acting as the lead over the gyrus hidden inside the stem of the lateral sulcus. Therefore, it is known as the pars opercularis. समझ में आया? Pars orbitalis, pars triangularis, pars opercularis. ठीक है? तो होगा तुम्हारा फ्रंटल लोब का. Now on the parietal lobe. So you can see here there is the postcentral lobe. Post-central sulcus is running parallel to the central sulcus. ये पूरा सेंट्रल सर्कस एकदम डार्क दिख रहा है, उसके पीछे पोस्ट सेंट्रल, यहाँ पे प्री सेंट्रल था. नाउ दिस इज द पोस्ट सेंट्रल sulcus running downward and forward again. ठीक है. And there is a post central gyrus present between the central sulcus and post central sulcus. So this is the post central gyrus. जो पूरा लाइन दिख रहा है, this one is the post central gyrus. There comes the intraparietal sulcus. You can see this darker line, थोड़ा zigzag line दिख रहा है. This is the intraparietal sulcus, dividing the rest of the parietal lobe into the superior and inferior lobule. Got it? Superior parietal lobule हो गया ऊपर और नीचे बड़ा वाला हो गया inferior parietal lobule. Okay, तो फ्रंटल हो गया, इसके sulcus and gyra and parietal का sulci and gyra. Now temporal lobe. So here there are two main sulci, superior temporal sulcus and inferior temporal sulcus. Inferior and superior temporal sulcus. And they are parallel to the posterior ramus of the main lateral sulcus. ये होगा तुम्हारा posterior ramus of the main lateral sulcus. This is superior temporal sulcus, inferior temporal sulcus, and this is the infralateral border. So between this posterior ramus and infralateral border, there are the three temporal gyrus or gyri. The superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus, inferior temporal gyrus. So now they are parallel, running posteriorly, okay, and on the posterior end they become curved upward. Got it? Then we have seen the occipital lobe now. So it is having three short sulci, the lateral, transverse, and the lunate. Lateral, transverse, and lunate. I will show you. Yeah, this is the lateral sulcus. It is the lateral sulcus here you can see. Then it is the lunate sulcus, and this is the transverse sulcus. Transverse, lunate, मतलब अच्छा curve रहेगा, and then lateral sulcus. So this lateral and transverse are known as the occipital sulci, and lunate is the separate sulcus. Now on the medial surface. So first we will see the cingulate sulcus. The pointer I will use. So with the cingulate sulcus you can see from anteroinferior ascending upward, turning backward. So this is the cingulate sulcus running parallel to what? Running parallel to the supromedial border. This is the supromedial border. Okay. So this is present at a distance 1 centimeter from upper margin of the corpus callosum. So you can see this is the corpus callosum. So I hope you know what is the corpus callosum. It is the commissural fibers having commissural fibers connecting two cerebral hemisphere. Whole of this cerebral hemisphere is separated from each other by a median longitudinal fissure, except at this corpus callosum, because it is connecting two cerebral hemisphere by commissural fibers running along in the corpus callosum. इसका जो अपर मार्जिन दिख रहा है तो पैरेलल टू दैट इज द सिंगुलेट sulcus. ठीक है, and anteriorly it is, so I will in short I will tell you, this is the splenium, this is the body, this is the genu that is bending, and this is the rostrum part of the corpus callosum. So below the genu the cingulate sulcus starts and making curve upward and backward. So there between the corpus callosum and cingulate sulcus, this whole strip of the gray matter is known as cingulate gyrus. This cortical area is known as the cingulate gyrus. तो cingulate sulcus ऊपर रहेगा, फिर उसके बीच में नीचे cingulate gyrus. Got it? Now this is the corpus callosum. So between the cingulate gyrus here and corpus callosum, again there is a sulcus on either side. तो समझ लो राइट साइड का हेमिस्फीयर है, तो दिस इज द राइट callosal sulcus. This one. ठीक है, तो between cingulate gyrus and the corpus callosum, between cingulate gyrus, corpus callosum. ओके, तो क्या क्या जगह यहाँ पे cingulate sulcus, corpus callosum, cingulate gyrus, callosal sulcus. तो पहले corpus callosum, callosal sulcus, then cingulate gyrus, then cingulate sulcus will come. Then other short sulci we can see the calcarine, already we have seen on the lateral surface, which is short on the lateral, but on the middle surface it is extending upward and forward. Okay. And the parieto-occipital sulcus. You can see they are enclosing a triangular area on the occipital lobe. So this triangular area is known as cuneus gyrus. Okay. Then there is another gyrus known as the precuneus gyrus anterior to this parieto-occipital sulcus. So it is between parieto-occipital and paracentral lobule. If you remember, I told you that there is the medial extension of the central sulcus from the lateral surface to medial surface, and around that, the part of the cortex is known as the paracentral lobule, controlling the ball-bladder movement. This is the posterior end of the paracentral lobule, and between this parieto-occipital sulcus and paracentral lobule, this whole part is known as the precuneus gyrus, which is quadrangular in shape. देखो मैंने डायग्राम इसलिए बनाया तो you can understand, or quadrilateral. This is precuneus. Cuneus, precuneus means anterior to cuneus. Then suprasplenial sulcus. जैसे हमने यहाँ पे callosal sulcus देखा था. This is above the body. This is splenium of the corpus callosum. So above that there is the suprasplenial sulcus. So it is separating the precuneus from the cingulate gyrus. This is the cingulate gyrus and this is a precuneus. So this whole sulcus is known as the suprasplenial sulcus because it is over the part of the splenial part of the corpus callosum. Got it? Now the inferior surface. So inferior surface is divided into anterior part, which is higher, orbital part, tentorial part. So orbital part we can see here. So there is an on the medial aspect. ये जो पीछे का ये बीच में वाला डिवीजन दिख रहा है between two cerebral hemisphere is known as the median longitudinal fissure. Okay, so two cerebral hemisphere are totally separate from each other except the corpus callosum. Okay, by this longitudinal fissure. So just lateral to this longitudinal fissure, on the orbital surface there is a anteroposteriorly running sulcus known as the olfactory sulcus. You can see here there is a structure known as the olfactory bulb, and from olfactory bulb the slender structure posteriorly running is the olfactory tract related to the first cranial nerve, that is olfactory nerve. So this olfactory bulb, olfactory tract are present or accommodated in the sulcus known as the olfactory sulcus. Okay. Then orbital sulcus is there. Lateral to that, you can see this irregular shape here. Here. So this group of the sulcus together known as the orbital sulcus. Okay. When you will draw the diagram, you have to draw H shape. दो वर्टिकल होगा और एक हॉरिजॉन्टल बनाना है. ठीक है. तो irregular H shape. So these are having the anterior, medial, posterior and the lateral orbital gyri. Okay. And medial to the olfactory sulcus, this gyrus is known as the gyrus rectus because it is straight from anterior to posterior, and lateral to this orbital sulcus dividing into four parts: anterior, posterior, medial and lateral orbital gyri. We will come on the tentorial part. Here tentorial part. So here we will see the collateral and the occipito-temporal sulcus. So you can see the collateral sulcus here. सबसे median portion है. You can see the midbrain here. All this. So just middle to that, on the inferior surface of the temporal lobe, you can see antero-posteriorly running is collateral sulcus. And the sulcus lateral to that, main sulcus lateral to that, is known as the occipito-temporal sulcus. ओके. तो मिडिल में कोलेटरल रहेगा और इसके लेटरल में फ्रॉम ऑक्सीपिटल लोब टू द टेम्पोरल इज द occipito-temporal sulcus. Right? Now we see what are the gyrus are present. So there is the lingual gyrus here. which is between collateral and the calcarine sulcus here. The collateral sulcus and there is the calcarine sulcus. So there will be a lingual sulcus. It is not shown in your diagram, but this is the lingual sulcus here. And anteriorly it is continuous with the parahippocampal gyrus. The lingual gyrus, not sulcus, lingual gyrus, and anteriorly it is continuous with the parahippocampal gyrus. And anteriorly you can see this hook-like structure anterior to the parahippocampus. It is known as the uncus, gyrus. So this sulcus is known as the renal sulcus here. And there's the isthmus. So isthmus is termed that bridge. Isthmus is related concerned with the bridge-like structure connecting any two structures. So isthmus is the structure which connecting the parahippocampal gyrus to the cingulate gyrus here. The parahippocampal gyrus and cingulate gyrus will come on the medial, you remember. So that connection between these two structures is known as, if I can show you here. Cingulate gyrus and parahippocampal gyrus. यहाँ पे लेबल मैंने हटा दिया है. Uncus, parahippocampal gyrus. This is the lingual gyrus, and this is the isthmus. Cingulate gyrus or parahippocampal zone between them. This is the isthmus. You can see the lingual gyrus here. This one, cingulate is here, and it is isthmus. Okay. Then medial occipito-temporal gyrus and lateral occipito-temporal gyrus. You can see here. This one. So medial to collateral sulcus, structure we have seen all this parahippocampal, uncus, lingual. Now lateral to that is medial and lateral to this occipito-temporal sulcus. So medial to that is medial and lateral to that is the lateral occipito-temporal gyrus. So guys, so this was all about the sulci and gyra present on the inferior surface, that is orbital part and tentorial part. Why tentorial part? Because it is overlying the tentorium cerebelli, the dura mater fold that is known as the tentorium cerebelli above the cerebellum. Okay, and below the part of the cerebral hemisphere known as the tentorial part. Got it? So these are the diagram of the development. We can see some new chatting. So it comes under the development part. Okay, how the sulci are formed, how the three parts, that is the prosencephalon, mesencephalon, and malencephalon are developing, and how the cerebral hemisphere, the lateral extension from the diencephalon is curving upward, backward, and again inferiorly to form the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobe. Okay, and again they are convoluting to form this gyra and sulci. Okay. To occupy the larger surface area within the smaller cranial cavity. So applied aspect, the division of the cerebrum into sulci and gyra helps to localize the loss of the function and accurately place a brain lesion. For example, if we see the precentral gyrus, okay, if there is any lesion related to that, so it will be lead to the contralateral hemiparesis, because The precentral gyrus is also known as the primary motor cortex. That is area 4 of the Brodmann. So, primary motor cortex area is controlling the movement of the opposite side of the body, that is contralateral part of the body. So, lesion to that will lead to the weakness, maybe transient or maybe permanent for future, leading to the condition known as the hemiparesis. So, hemiparesis is just weakness. जब परमानेंट हो जाता है, irreversible होता है, then it is known as the hemiplegia. Okay, so for safe side, we will utilize the hemiparesis because sometimes the weakness happen due to the neural involvement, but that can be the reversible. Okay, in some ischemic condition, and the postcentral gyrus is also known as the primary sensory cortex or somatosensory cortex. So it receives the impulses from the opposite side of the body, the sensory impulse, like fine touch, okay, and the other vibrations. So any lesion to that area will lead to the contralateral hemisensory loss. Fine. And the frontal lobe is associated with the function of the attention, okay, social behavior. So whatever conscious activity done by us is controlled by the frontal lobe. Any conscious activity. So lesion to that lead to the loss of the attention and there will be the change in the social behavior. And there may be the global involvement of the cerebral hemisphere known as the widespread or global degeneration of the cerebral cortex in some conditions, and it can lead to the dementia, means loss of memory. Right, so these are about the applied aspect of gyrus related to the gyra. Yes. So whichever cortex will be involved in the degeneration, so obviously that will affect the function related to that, body function related to that. So it is very important. If any body part is affected, maybe sensory loss or the motor deficiency, then we have to first think about the higher center. It may be due to the lower center, maybe at the level of spinal cord or peripheral nerve, but you have to also think about the higher center depending on the area involved. Okay, extent of the area involved in that neurology neurodeficit. Fine. Okay, so we can leave now. Thank you very much.